Hi, welcome to our channel C.S.E-Pathshala by Nirmal Gaud. In this lecture, we are going to study about the list in Python. Lists are used to store the data of different data types in a sequential manner. A list is an order and a mutable in Python. Being one of the most important data structure, elements are placed in a square brackets. There are addresses assigned to every element of the list, which is called index. And what is index? It is an inbuilt function in Python which searches for a given element from the start of the list and returns the lowest index, which means n minus 1, where the element appears. And the parameters are the element whose lowest value is there can return to the function, and the index value starts from 0 and goes on until the last element, that is known as positive index. And there is also a negative index, means we have a minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, but it will not start from 0. Index value is used to assess the elements from the last to first, and this operation includes indexing, slicing, adding, multiplying, checking for a membership, and etc. There are certain things that you can be doing with the sequence of types. In addition to the list, we can use Python as a built-in function for finding the length of the sequence, for finding its largest and the smallest element. These are being the function to be done in the list. Next comes the criteria for creating a list. So list is used in a square brackets. Except the square brackets, the function will not recall its own. And if you don't pass any element inside the square bracket, you can get an empty list as an output. So list can also be created with the built-in function list iterables. What is iterables means that repeating identical or simulating the task without making error in something, and repeated and execution of a set of the statement is known as iterables. Now comes as, like, if the argument is passed in a list, so it is an iterable function, that it is the collection, sequence, or iterators a list with the items of the input list. Here is an example which is going to be performed in the Jupyter lab. Now comes as adding the elements. Now how can we add an element? Element can be added like append, extend, insert functions. These are the major classifications of adding an element. Now what is append? Like the append function adds all the element passed to its single element. The extend function adds the element one by one into the list, and the insert function adds the element passed to the index value and increase the size of the list too. In this function, all of the three is being added to a program. Next comes is deleting an element. So for deleting an elements in the list, there are three methods, which are those del keywords, then list remove method, and then list pop method. To delete an element, we use the del keyword, which is built in into the Python. Like this, it works to return a major function value. These are generally used for remove the items, a list functions from a function returnable. Next come is pop function. So pop function method is, if you want to make an element back, you can use the pop function, which takes the index value. For pop method, the items are removed from the given index and returns the value. Then comes this remove method. Remove method deletes the first matching element from the list. You can also use the remove function for that, which is same as with the delete function. Next come is assessing the elements. So to assess the elements, we use the strings, that is similar to adding the elements. and the list are ordered sequence of elements, and like other container, Python lists are indexed using starting index 0. We can also give the negative value to assess an item. So positive and negative values are being assigned to this function. Now come is what is list slicing. So list slicing refers to the assessing a specific portion or a subset of the list for some operation while the original list remains unaffected. There are two major criteria, that is start and stop. So what the start parameter do is, start parameter is a mandatory parameter where the stop and steps are the both optional parameters to perform a slicing in Python. So the start representative, what does it do is the index from where the list slicing is supposed to begin. Its default value is 0. That is, it begins from index 0. So the stop represents the last index up to which the list slicing will go on. Its default value is length list minus 1, that is n minus 1 from the before the value will be counted or the index of the last element in the list. Here is the example for list slicing. Next come is list indexing. So list indexing is the indexed value that is accordingly to define the sequence, and the indexing of a list is done with a 0 being the first index of it. It can't be started with 1, it is to be started with 0. Each element in the list has its definite place in the list, which allows the duplicating of elements in the list. Like if I wrote is 0 and 1, and further I used to write the minus 1 and 2, it will be the same one, with each element having its own distinct place and credibility. What is now index? Index I had explained prior also. Indexed is an inbuilt function in Python which searches for a given element from the start of the list and return to the lowest index where the element appears. So this is an example. Now we will perform all these programs in Jupyter Lab. We will copy it out the program. We will go to this, yeah. So let's see the output. Output is empty list is being performed, and next is the list with elements are being outputted. This is for creating a list. Now came is adding a list. For adding a list, here is a program to write an add. We will run it. Add. We add a certain functions in it. Next come is deleting. For deleting, the program is this, and we had deleted some of the programs from in between and from added ones. Now come is assess. Assess means we are recalling the function. Now we will run it. Yeah. So here, first of all, function output is there, and then the list addressable is there. Next come is list slicing. For list slicing, here is a program. Sliced list is there, like 1, 4, -3, -1, 0, 6. Make sure the commas to be added perfectly. Either the program will not run. Yeah, the output is 2. Great. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe the channel. Thank you.